Hello and welcome to my Nikon Z85mm f1.2 review. And wow, is this a great lens. So I'm going to talk you through how I found using it for the first time, all the way through to how I feel about this lens today. I will also walk you through its sharpness, vignetting, distortion, focus speed, focus breathing, contrast, chromatic aberration, and bokeh too as well, of course. I am going to give you my opinion on its size and weight and how I found using it over the last month or so. So come on, I'm really excited to get into this and to tell you all about it. So yes, I did buy this lens myself and I paid for it with my own money, sadly. And no, I was not paid for this review, so rest assured, these are my own personal thoughts on this lens. The very first time I used this lens, it blew me away, and it just hasn't stopped impressing me since. The depth, sharpness, and the all-round feel of using this lens is just jaw-droppingly good. The balance on the camera, its shape and how it pairs beautifully with the Z8, it feels like a single unit, and more importantly, like something you've been using for years. Maybe it's just me, but some primes are getting really small now, which is great in ways, but when you pop them on the camera, they feel like a tiny little addition onto the camera itself. Whereas this feels like the 70-200, it feels like the 24-70 on your camera, so it feels incredibly familiar. And that's something I noticed from the very first time I use it. It just feels right straight away. Now, I'm going to show you a few photographs I took from the very first time I used this lens to give you an idea of what this lens is capable of. And yes, these are not stunningly beautiful photographs. These are just of a model friend of mine out in our back garden. We didn't use any flash. I just used the Nikon Z8 and this lens. And these are the photographs now with just an incredibly basic edit applied. So all these photographs now are shot at f1.2 to give you an idea of how smoothly this lens renders backgrounds. It's just absolutely incredible. The focus is firmly on the model in every single shot and the backgrounds are just gone. But they're not gone in a distracting way. They are just lovely, soft, smooth backgrounds. And to give you an idea, this is a photograph here again of my friend in front of a shed. And as you can see, the shed has more or less been wiped out. There is no detail there. This lens is an absolute dream to use. And this is a bit more of a classical headshot style approach, again at f1.2. And here we have a few more shots again at f1.2, just zooming in a small bit more on the final shot here. And then I changed over to f2.8, just to give you an idea the depth, the clarity you can get on this lens. To say I'm blown away by this lens is definitely not an exaggeration. Okay, so that's going to give you a rough idea how this lens performs and the type of images you can hope to achieve from it. This lens is not light at 1,160 grams, but for the amazing results you get from the lens, it truly does make it worth the effort of popping it into your bag. The 24-70 f2.8 is 805 grams, and the 70-200 f2.8 is 1,440 grams. So it's kind of in between weight-wise. Now, one of the biggest things when it comes to buying a lens is the price. And looking at the price now of the 85mm f1.2, this lens costs me €3,299 when I bought it. So this lens certainly isn't cheap. But is it worth it? After all, that's what really matters. I always say, if you buy the right gear, you only cry once. So I can also appreciate this lens might be incredibly expensive to a lot of people. That's actually part of the reason why I look to review cheaper lenses that might offer you a lot more bang for the buck, like the Bokeh 85mm f1.8 or the TT Artisan's 75mm f2 lens, and which I have reviews of course. I will leave the links for those reviews in the description down below too as well. All in all though, as a professional lens, this lens does provide amazing value for money when you look at the images it can produce for you, and then think of all those faithful years of service you can get from it. Let's go look at the test chart results here now for center sharpness, corner sharpness, distortion, chromatic aberration, all that rubbish. Let's get a bit more technical here now. Okay, so looking at center sharpness here now, let's zoom in at 150% to see how well this lens does. At f1.2 you can see this lens is still very sharp considering we are really pixel peeping now. At f1.8 there is little to no difference. At f2.8 there is a bit more sharpness starting to creep in now. At f4 sharpness improves again. At f5.6 now, and for me I think this is the sharpest point on this lens really for center sharpness. At f8 now we get very similar results to what we were getting at f5.6. And at f11 now, diffraction is really starting to soften the image here now. At f16, again you can see diffraction is kicking in very hard here and the image is starting to soften. Going back to f1.2 now, I have to say this lens is incredibly sharp considering it's shot wide open. But for center sharpness, f5.6 for me is absolutely tack sharp. Looking at corner sharpness now, and again we are zoomed in at 150% and we're going to check out the bottom right hand corner at f1.2 now. Considering this is shot wide open now, the results are just amazing out of this lens. It shouldn't be this sharp at f1.2 in the corners, it really shouldn't. This lens truly is something special, alright. Moving to f1.8 now, and there is very little, if not no difference in the results. At f2.8 there is more detail starting to creep in now though. At f4 we have more improvements again, and at f5.6 the corners are looking very good now. And this for me is the best aperture on this lens for corner sharpness. At f8 you can see there is no real difference, and if there is, it's so slight it's hardly worth it. Looking at f11 now, and diffraction is starting to soften the image slightly, and at f16 again diffraction is softening it even more again. This backs up all the results I've gotten from this lens on shoots over the last 6 weeks I've been using it now. So if you want a maximum center and corner sharpness, then f5.6 is the best aperture to use here. Again, in saying that, the results at f1.2 are simply amazing on this lens. Looking at vignetting now, and yes, there is a tiny bit at f1.2, but it's more or less gone by f1.8, so I would completely forget about vignetting being an issue. All you need to do is click on your lens profile corrections and it's going to cancel that out straight away for you. There is a very slight bit of distortion in this lens, but it really is only very slight and it's not an issue at all. Again, simply click on the lens profile correction in your editing software and bang, what little distortion is there is gone. Chromatic aberration now, and yes, there is some chromatic aberration in this lens, but it again is only very slight, as you can see here when we zoom in along. And it's more axial chromatic aberration that shows up in the out of focus areas when there is a large contrast in that particular section. Again, it's only very slight, so it's no real issue. Contrast on this lens is also very good. Even at f1.2 you can see on the test chart photograph here that the black sections still come out really well, and again this is what I've found from using this lens. Now of course when you stop down to f2.8 or so, the contrast does improve, which is only natural. But all around and even wide open, this lens provides amazing contrast. Looking at flaring now, and I was not expecting this lens to handle this so well. Now this is an extreme case where I was shooting straight into the sun and I kept moving around trying to get the flaring as bad as I possibly could. And this is the worst I could manage. I really pushed this lens to the absolute extreme here, and this is as bad as it got, which is still very good in my mind. Looking at focus speed here now, and this is an extreme example as this is shot at f1.2 and I'm at the closest focusing distance on this lens here now. So as you can see, Dobby's eyes are in focus here, so let's focus on the background now. And as you can see, it takes a second, and when I focus back on a very out of focus Dobby again, it also takes another second. And please do remember, this is an extreme test. But if you want to see how the focus behaves more normally, let's pick on a few places to the left of Dobby here, and this will give you an idea how quickly it locks on normally and how positive it is normally. So as you can see here now, even with very shallow depth of field, this lens can find normal focus points very quickly indeed. In using this lens for the last 6 or 7 weeks now, I have never had an issue with focus, and it has always been super quick and very positive when locking on, which while shooting with such shallow depth of field is very impressive. The focus in this lens is just brilliant. Looking at focus breathing here now, and I am manually focus pulling the focus here to show you how much breathing is in this lens as I alternate between focusing on the foreground to focusing on the background. And this is incredibly impressive. So for video shooters, the focus lock is very fast and positive. There is very little focus breathing, so that really does make this a very good video lens. Now, the other thing I haven't mentioned as of yet is noise coming out of the focus motors, which again, if you're shooting video, is going to be important. And this lens is super quiet. So that is another huge positive for this lens for video shooters. And looking at the build quality and the 85 f1.2 now, this lens is incredibly well built. And of course you would expect nothing less from an S9 Nikon lens. But it really is built like a tank with a nice robust body that's weather sealed too, of course. Now, the one thing with that as regards weather sealing, please don't take that as me saying it's waterproof. That's a completely different rating altogether. I have never tried the weather sealing on this lens, and it's something I hopefully will never try to as well. Now, this is a quirky little thing that I didn't notice at first, but I do love how the front element is slightly recessed, so it has this slight guard around the front element itself. That might be a stupid thing for you, but I like the extra protection it offers when you're walking around, and if you bang up against something, the front lens element is going to be protected. Now, obviously, if you have the hood on, that's going to help it again. But if you don't use the hood all the time, that is extremely handy, and it's a very nice touch. You can also stand it upside down the table, and it's not going to scratch the front element too as well. Now, one of the things I really love about this lens is the size or the width of the focus ring itself. It's just super easy to grab when you're shooting, and it's in the right place, so it just makes sense. And like something you used 100 times before, even the very first time you picked it up. It's also nice and smooth too as well, but there's also that very slight bit of resistance like you get on all good quality lenses. The focus throw on this lens then is brilliant. The focus throw is roughly 40 to 50 degrees, but again, that is proportional. So the slower you rotate the focus ring, the larger the focus throw is. If you turn it very slowly, so if I go like this, the focus throw is roughly about 140 degrees. Where if I turn it quickly, this is going from one extreme to the other. It's as fast as that. So that is absolutely brilliant. And the proportional fact means you can actually turn it very, very slowly and you can get absolutely precise focusing then. Next then we have the control ring, and the control ring is as solid, precise and as smooth as you would expect out of a Nikon S-series lens. Now, not everyone loves the control rings, but I do find them very handy at times depending on the genre of photography I'm shooting. Then we have the auto manual switch to switch between autofocus and manual focus. And then we have the LFN button, or the lens function button. Now, incidentally, I have this set on my Nikon Z8 for starlight because I find that incredibly handy. If I'm shooting in dark scenes, you can just so easily compose your image because you could actually see what's going on. And you just press it once to enable starlight and press it again to switch it back off. So I absolutely love having a lens FN button on there. So it's review conclusion time, and I simply just have to say, I absolutely love this lens. From the very first shot I took in it, this lens blew me away. Simple as that. The backgrounds it renders are sublime with simply incredible bokeh, and it gives you some absolutely gorgeously smooth transitions too as well. Now, I love the look it gives on all the shoots I use it on, and the more I've used it, the more I have totally fallen for it. And we've become partners in crime now, stealing little moments of magic is, I suppose, the way I like to see it, and freezing them forever. As you know, that's what photography is all about, isn't it? You're trying to capture those moments for people. This lens gives me the confidence to go for what I see in my mind's eye, and when it's paired with the Nikon Z8 then, the results speak for themselves. So overall, it's a massive yes for me to this stunning lens. It just has to be. And I have absolutely loved using it. Completely no regrets whatsoever in buying this lens. It's as simple as that. And yes, Nikon probably should be paying me for this review now. It seems like an advert at this stage, But trust me, I've bought this lens myself, and if I didn't like this lens or if I found an issue with it, I would be as passionate about that issue or those flaws also. As you see, I'm just like you. I love photography. It's as simple as that. And I also appreciate value for money. And for me, I think this lens is fantastic value for money. While it's not cheap, it really is a massive investment. So invest in you and invest in your photography, and you genuinely won't regret it. So thanks again for watching, and as always, if you have any questions on the 85 f1.2 lens, please do feel free to ask them. And see you out there, or see you in the next video, everyone.